In part one, the club experienced some difficulties because of the First World War, but went on at the end of the first 25 years as league champions. But maybe that wasn't as beneficial to the club as you would expect, as some of the Meadow players at the time became a target for senior clubs.
In season 22-23, the Murmis Derby, the Vics repeated their success in front of 2,000 fans at Victoria Park, winning 1-0 in what was described in the local press as a tame game for a local derby.
1923-24, in that season Meadow had 4 top players snatched from them by the seniors just before the season started. The relationship between the SFA and the SJFA was very poor.
In season 1923-24, it was only the 3rd attempt that Meadow got their first Minimus win. The Irvine Herald of the time described the build-up for the game like this: the first local derby of the season, which has now become known as the Minimus Derby. Final score was Meadow 2, Vics 1.
Season 1924-25, Irvine Meadow won the Irvine Herald Cup, beating New Milnes 1-0 at Winton Park.
Irvine Meadow was one of the 62 clubs who left the Scottish Junior Football Association in a dispute over compensation from senior clubs. The club set up the Scottish Intermediate Football Association and ran their own league and cup competitions for 4 seasons.
In 1927-28, the first season of the so-called intermediate dispute, Meadow played local rivals Irvine Victoria in the first round of the Scottish Intermediate Cup and lost 5-1.
1927-28, the Intermediate Association, Meadow won the Scottish Intermediate Consolation Cup, beating Parkhead 4-0 at Springfield Park. In the Ayrshire Intermediate Cup, they beat Glengarnet Vale 2-1 at Winton Park. In the Western Intermediate League Cup, they beat Glengarnet Vale 4-3 at Merchworth Park. Finally, in the Stirling Trophy, they beat Kilburning Ladyside 2-1 at Claremont Park, co-winning.
Murmis Derbies 1921 to 1928. In the first 8 years of the Murmis Derby, Vics had 4 wins to Meadow's 3, with the other game finishing a 3-all draw. From 1928 onwards though, Meadow began their domination of the fixture, even managing a 20-game unbeaten run.
In 1928-29, they won the Western Intermediate League Cup, Moore Trophy, the Western Intermediate League Championship, and in 1929-30 they won the Ayrshire Intermediate Cup and Moore Trophy.
1930-31, lost in 4 cup finals. 1930-31 proved to be the last season of intermediate football, with a settlement being reached between SFA and the SJFA. Players signing a professional form to receive a £5 sign-on fee and £6.06 wage. Compensation to seniors to junior clubs was £75 and to £35 to the players.
In season 1932-33, Irvine Meadow won 2 cups on the same day. On the evening of Friday the 2nd, June 1933, Meadow drew 2 each with Ardea Recreation in the final of the Irvine and District Cup. The replay would have to be the next day, which was a closing day of the season. The problem was that Meadow already had a game rearranged for the Saturday, and it was another cup final replay. The solution was to play one game in the afternoon and the other in the evening. On the Saturday afternoon, Meadow faced Ardea Recreation in the 3 p.m. replay, and won fairly comfortable with goals from McDowell, Blair and McGibbons. The same 11 then travelled to Cowannon for the 6:30 kick-off against Irvine Victoria in the Ayrshire Consolation Cup. Meadow brought their season to a close with a 3-2 win against the local rivals, with 2 goals from Blair and 1 from Burgoyne.
1934 League teams: North Section, Irvine Meadow 11 FC, Ardea Recreation, Saltcoats Victoria, Neilston Juniors, Beath Juniors, Hurlford United, Irvine Victoria, Dalry Thistle, Riccarton Bluebell and Kilmarnock Juniors. 1934-35, a special financial committee was formed after the club got into serious financial difficulty. During that season, the club won the Ayrshire Charity Cup, beating Dalry 3-1.
For the remaining years of the 1930s, Meadow had less on-the-field success, and as the decade came to an end, they were getting into financial dire straits. In 1939, Hitler's army invaded Poland, and the British government responded by declaring war on Germany.
In season 1937-38, with crowds dropping all over junior football, an amalgamation with Irvine Victoria was considered, but not long. In season 38-39, Irvine Meadow won the Irvine District Cup, beating Troon Athletic 3-1. They also won the Moore Trophy, beating Auchinleck Talbot by the amazing score of 8-0, and they did it twice that season. Both the finals were played at Recreation Park in Stevenson.
Junior clubs struggled to keep up with the financial pace around this period, and Irvine Meadow unfortunately found themselves in that difficult position, and the struggles increased in the run-up to World War II.
1939 to 1940, the threat of war. War was announced on the 3rd of September. Players were called up by HM forces. In an effort to reduce travelling, the league was split into North and South. Meadow lost 5-1 in the final of the Western League Cup to Ardea Recreation. In 1940 to 41, several clubs closed down, players joining His Majesty's forces. 1942, Irvine Meadow played their last game before closing down.
Can you remember the first game you came to Meadow Park?
Aye, my father drove my brother and I in at the back gate to see the first game after the war, as far as I was concerned. And I was very impressed with the crowd that was in. I take it must have been maybe 2,000 or 3,000.
Jimmy Mitchell first served as secretary in 1905 for a few months, and returned in season 1906-07, and again in 1909-10, and finally 1915 through to 1943, with over 30 years as secretary.
Hi, I'm Jim Mitchell, an Irvine man, and I'd just like to say a few words about my grandpa, Jimmy Mitchell. He was the secretary at Irvine Meadow for 4 different tenures, and it totalled 30, just slightly over 30 years. I'd just also like to say that my great uncle John, who was my grandpa's brother, was in the committee as well during that time. And also my uncle Andrew, who was my grandpa's second son, his nickname was Snowy, and he played for the Meadow for a number of years. I've always been a supporter of Meadow, but I haven't been over since the COVID. But I'm hoping to get back soon, because it's always good to see them doing well, and I wish them every success in the future.
At the end of World War II, Irvine Meadow, being a strong community-led club, saw the local community rally round in support of the club.
At the end of the Second World War, Meadow Park was in a really bad state. The local police army unit came in and did a lot of work.
June 1945, after the war, Bob Alexander, club secretary. Previous club secretary James Jimmy Mitchell handed £8 tensions over. Meadow Park and restatement work was significant. A set of blue jerseys was handed over from Mr Peter Kerr, whose dad, John, had been Griswold before the war. Western League resumed in North and South format, and played the first game at Meadow Park on the 4th of August 1945. Irvine Meadow 11 finished bottom of the league.
In season 1946-47, Irvine Meadow were granted the lease of Meadow Park from Irvine Town Council at £15 per annum. A tremendous amount of work was undertaken at Meadow Park, but still no electricity or water. The use of paraffin lamps and water from houses in Winton Road.
Meadow Park at this stage had changing rooms on the faraway side, when Blakeman Dreghorn used to chap the door between the two to get a good shiver. The tea shop was also over there.
I came here when I was a wee boy with my dad and the rest of the men when they're laying the sleepers for the terracing, and the old clubhouse used to be there, and you'd in there and all you'd smell it was wintergreen. and the young boys used to get running around about it. And then you'd all stands as all thin ones, and there a bit along the back where the young boys used to run up and down.
In 1946-47, Meadow won the Irvine and District Cup, beating Neilston 4-0 at Abbey Park, Caerwinning.
In 1946-47, reached the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, losing 3-2 to Shawfield.
1947-1948, Meadow 11 beat Bathgate Thistle 1-0 in the Scottish Junior Cup semi-final after 2 drawn matches.
They were Scottish Cup finalists, losing 2-1 to Bo'ness at Hampden in front of 55,600 fans. Aggregate attendance for the Scottish Cup run was 221,500.
Well, it was unfortunate Irvine Meadow didn't win the cup, but a great achievement to reach the Scottish Junior Cup final in their 50th year. Making it to the semi-finals started a romance between the Scottish Junior Cup and the Meadow. As you'll hear in part 3, as it became a well-known club to watch in Scotland when it came to the Scottish Cup.